What's up, you sweaty nerds and greasy degenerates? The patch 1.6 special programming just aired for Honkai Star Rail, so it's time to dive into the first 5-star premium character's kit, Ruan Mei. So let's go ahead and just dive straight in. As per usual, firstly we're going to go over Ruan Mei's kit and abilities, then afterwards I'm going to go over the lore of the character that was given to us in the 1.6 special programming. Alright, so let's get into Ruan Mei's kit and abilities. Ruan Mei is an Ice-type character on the path of Harmony. She is the first 5-star premium Harmony character in the entire game. And when she speaks, she's literally moaning the entire time. The Hoyoverse devs really convinced her voice actress to sound like she is constantly trying to seduce the player. And I'm okay with that. Oh, sorry. Her basic attack, Threading Fragrance, deals ice damage to a single target. Boy, I'd love to get a sniff of her fragrance, am I right? Oh my god, I need to stop. Ruan Mei's skill is a very spicy tongue twister called String Sings Slow Swirls. Try saying that 5 times fast. So her skill increases the weakness break efficiency of all allies. Trust me when I say that there will be much more going on with her skill, but that isn't publicly available at this time. However, you might notice within Ruan Mei's ultimate and technique, there are some effects that seem like they might be attached to her skill or talent, but they're not distinctively mentioned within the special programming. So let's talk about her ultimate. Ruan Mei's ultimate, Petals to Stream, Response in Dream, creates a field of effect on the battlefield, a lot like Locha or Fushuan, but of course, Ruan Mei's field has her own signature effect. Allies receive an all-type resistance penetration increase, and when breaking an enemy's weakness, the enemy will receive a mark. This mark triggers on the enemy's next action, and will extend the length of the enemy's weakness break, delaying their action, and the enemy will also receive additional ice damage. It should be noted that all-type resistance penetration is not the same as defense reduction, and it has its own separate multiplier, but most definitely has its value to help increase overall damage. Ruan Mei's technique, Silken Serenade, will perform the exact same way as Ruan Mei's skill, and will take effect at the start of battle. But she also has a very special effect added to this. I firstly need to say, though, that every effect I'm about to say only works in the simulated universe according to the 1.6 special programming. These are only simulated universe effects, and they are very unique and do not work in other game modes. So let's move on. If you are in simulated universe and you use Ruan Mei's technique, the battle will start as if you have attacked the enemy's weakness as well as take the same effect as her skill. This weakness break effect ignores enemy's weakness typing and attacks their weakness regardless of their type, and actually has the ability to potentially break the weakness bar of all enemies on the battlefield, like an AoE attack. And you can use any one of your allies to trigger combat this way. So depending on which ally you use, the enemy's weakness break effect will correspond to that specific ally's type. So for example, if you use a wind type character to start battle, after Ruan Mei's technique has been used, the enemy will receive a wind type weakness break effect. So I highly recommend using an imaginary character or a quantum character to trigger this effect, because quantum and imaginary are the best weakness breaks in the game. But that's not all. In the simulated universe, for every blessing possessed, it will increase the toughness reducing damage on the enemies. So, in late stage simulated universe, this should basically immediately weakness break all enemies on the battlefield, except for maybe the final boss enemies, but it could potentially break the weakness bar of final boss enemies too. And it's not over there. It will also deal additional ice damage. It says it will deal increased ice damage, which is rather an interesting form of words because that implies there was ice damage to begin with. This makes me feel like Hoyoverse is sort of hiding Ruan Mei's talent from us, and that her talent might have an ice damage effect to it, but I'm just speculating. I now need to point out something very important, though. The special programming did not specifically point out Ruan Mei's talent, which is often the most important part of a character's kit. It's possible that they mentioned it within Ruan Mei's skill and ultimate descriptions and decided to not make a dedicated section for it, but I think it's likely that Ruan Mei has more to her kit than the devs are telling us. However, to avoid my channel getting in trouble, I won't speculate on what those effects might be. Now let's go ahead and dive into Ruan Mei's lore that was told to us in the special programming, because there was at least one or two very interesting pieces of information you guys might like to hear. Ruan Mei is classified as number 81 of the Genius Society. Her research has always focused on the boundless field of biological science, and she rarely has any free time on her hands. So, you turbo simps out there better calm down. She probably doesn't have time to, turn you down. Despite being one of the founders of the simulated universe, she often does not engage within the combat simulator itself. And Albert asked a very interesting question to Ruan Mei that might have lore implications. When he asked if there was a story behind her name, she replied by telling him that her name is a combination of her parents' surnames. So yes, for all you Raiden Mei fans out there, Mei is the name of one of Ruan Mei's parents, of course. But don't get too excited. That very well might mean absolutely nothing, and Hoyoverse could just be messing with us. They like to do that sometimes. But interestingly, Acheron, who introduced to us recently, is in fact a lookalike of Raiden Mei, and even uses the same sword as Raiden Mei. So there might be something there. But anyways, the last really cool piece of information I wanted to mention is that Screwllum also told us that our encounters with Ruan Mei, quote, may hold surprises. And Albert told us that Screwllum just gave away a spoiler. So, stay tuned for something spicy from Ruan Mei in the future. Anyways, that's what we know right now publicly about Ruan Mei's kit. We will be learning more in the future, so stay tuned for that. And let me know if you're going to be pulling for Ruan Mei. She seems like she's going to be the perfect character for the new simulated universe events, and she seems like she's going to be a meta-defining character. So, let me know if you're pulling for Ruan Mei. Let me know if you're a massive turbo simp for her. Let me know if you're going to be trying to catch her in the DMs. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. If you found this information helpful or informative in any way, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. And if you do, Ruan Mei might let you touch her butt. Peace out.